All of us, regardless of what it is we believe, we're sincere in that. You follow what I'm saying? And I know you're sincere, and I don't want you to hurt by what I'm saying. Okay? Because I can't reach you if I hurt you. You understand what I'm saying? You can't reach a person by hurting them, man. By attacking them. You gotta somehow or another present it in a way to where they know you really care. You know, so that's why I keep asking, y'all all right? Notice what he goes on to say. They call themselves Christians, and those who are devoted to the god Serapis, I find, call themselves the bishops of Christ. Now some deep stuff, because there was a black bishop called Arius of Libya. And Arius said, okay, enough of this worshiping this cast iron figure. All right, y'all turning him into a god. You're worshiping him. We got to put a stop to this. All right, he said, this is not deity. Okay? And so, because Arius was causing such a problem, they ended up calling the Nicene Council. And Constantine and them got rid of Arius because he was a troublemaker. And this is the image that became the Christ. That Christians now worship as Jesus. Now what's really deep about it, y'all, you can go to the Museum of London and see that right now. In the Museum of London, that's where it is. And it says right there, Serapis. Doesn't say Jesus. When you put it together, you see the Serapis Christus became Jesus Christ. By edict of Emperor Constantine. In what year? 325 AD. Now I guarantee you, take this back to your pastor. Take that back to him or her and let them deal with that. And if they can't deal with it, you don't need to be there.
That's right.
Ashe? It's impossible for the African mind to experience liberation without first dealing with the psychosis of religion. Brother Ray, what do you mean by the psychosis of religion? See, again, I have to do this because I'm dealing with the mind. As a psychologist, that's the battlefield, people. The mind. A psychosis is a severe mental condition of a person at a specific moment in which that person loses contact with reality. Therefore, the psychosis of religion is when a person who, as a result of the religious teachings, beliefs, influences, and indoctrination of their religious group or organization loses contact with reality. That's a religious psychosis. Y'all got me? Or the psychosis of religion. Okay? Now, how does that happen when it comes to our religion? Let me go there for a moment. Okay? When a person says, if you put your trust in Jesus, everything will be all right. Let's say it this way. If a pastor tells you that, follow what I'm saying? You have the grounds for a lawsuit. A lot of people don't believe what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. In a court of law, a pastor is classified as a professional. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And just like as a physician, if I give a misdiagnosis or the wrong prescription to someone and they follow my prescription and things go wrong for them, I'm liable. That's why I have to carry a $1 million liability policy. So when a preacher says something to you, like if you give a $1,000 offering, God will bless you with that house you're looking for. Sue him if you don't get the house. That was a definite statement he had no right making. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Because he gave you a definite prescription. If you give $1,000, God gonna bless you with that house. So you go in and you give $1,000 you know you can't afford to give. And then you end up losing the one you got. He gave you a wrong prescription. That's grounds for a lawsuit. Y'all got to stop these people from messing with y'all. They run all these lines on y'all and they getting rich, man, and getting powerful and sleeping late as they want to while you getting up going to work every day. All right, let me go. I'm wrestling somebody preaching. When does the psychosis of religion begin? When does it begin? When does it begin? Right there. That's when it begins. Look at that picture. Study it well. The Roman Catholic Church, these are their words. Give us your children until they're 6, and then they're ours forever. Litany of the Roman Catholic Church. Here you have this white woman brainwashing this beautiful little black child. And what is she writing down on the paper? You can look at the child's face. This is new to her. How many of you were like that little girl right there? I was. I remember as a little child, man, I used to stand up and say, I used to hold the Bible up in church and say, the Bible. Yes, that's the book for me. I stand all alone on the Word of God, the Bible. And everybody would clap for me. And I said, wow, I did something good, man. What was sad about it is I would sing that song and hold the Bible up, and I couldn't even read it. You see the programming? How many of our young people are taught to pledge allegiance to the Bible? Some of you might have heard the pledge. It goes like this. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, and hide his words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Little children are made to say that, and we can't read it. So by the time we are old enough to read it, brother, we don't challenge it. Okay, and we don't challenge it because we've been taught to love it. Y'all see the program here? Yes, sir. Now the child grows up, and this is what you got. Now I want y'all to study that. See, they say pictures worth 1,000 words. Here you got a sister dressed up in African attire. Dressed up in African attire, walking up to her priest. That's our psychosis now, people. This is an old clipping from the London News, London paper. And notice the picture. Here you have this black slave, enslaved African, who was appointed as a preacher by this slave master right here. Here's the slave master, and here's his family over here. And he's sitting there making sure that this black man says exactly what he's supposed to say to the rest of the enslaved Africans. That's how their program got started among us. Do y'all see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And guess what? The program is real. I was a part of it. That was me when I had hair. Okay? There's a young brother over there. I watched that boy over there grow up. That man over there grow up. He remembers those days, don't you, Kurt?
Wow.
That was when I was a good preacher.
Wow.
Making good money. Wrong, ill-gotten money. Look at me, man. I was so proud. Proud, boy. Selling my people dope, not even knowing that I'm killing my own people. You know, I mean, when I graduated from college, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Wow.
You know, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, somebody even called me a black Robert Schuller, and I thought that was a compliment. I'm so glad I'm free, boy, I tell you.
That's right.
Edwin Smith went on to say in his book, the first method begins by destroying the institutions, tradition, and religion and habits of the people, and then superimpose upon the ruins whatever the governing power considers to be a better administration system. What they're saying is, let's destroy the black people's way of life and then superimpose upon the damage our way of life for them to fall in love with. Okay, let me move quickly on here. As a result, we Africans have become black Anglo-Saxons. If you don't have this book, I encourage you to get it. It's by Dr. Nathan Hare, The Black Anglo-Saxons. One of the most effective ways to suppress a people is by putting a device in place that will disassociate those people from their God, their spirituality, their culture, and their history. So they put a device in place that would ensure their perpetual empowerment over the minds of those whom they deceived. And that device is called religion. There it is. Look at that. Look at this, man. Look at this. See, I love pictures because pictures show it all. Now, see, when I was unconscious, I would look at those brothers and call them savages. Now that I know who I am and I know who my people are, I look at these brothers and I realize they're Zulu warriors. See what I'm saying? And what's really deep about it is, notice this. Look at that, man. She's sent through missionary work to Christianize the savage Africans. Okay? That was old. It's still going on today. Look at that. What's wrong with that picture? How can he relate to our experience? He can't. Exactly. And the only reason why they're able to do this is because it's his image that's on the cross. Now the device is self-perpetuating. She made that little cross and put it on her hat. Sold out now. Sold out. Y'all see the program here? Due to a mental disease called selective amnesia, we have allowed ourselves to see the enemy of our ancestors as our friend. Think about that. European history's principal function is to first separate us from the reality of ourselves. Separate us from the reality of ourselves. To separate us from the reality of the world. To separate us from the reality of our story. And to separate us from its power and ramifications. We know his story better than we know our story. In fact, guess what, y'all? You can't even get out of school until you know his story. They make you. Now, it's deep because I was at a place a couple weeks ago and I was doing oath to the ancestors, and this brother stood up in the back and said, "I can't stay in this place. You invoking the dead." I said, "Brother, what you talking about? You calling on dead folk." I said, "Well, who in the hell were you calling on in history class in school?"
Exactly.
When they had you taking the test and you had to call on George Washington. Who was the first president? George Washington. Is he dead or what? Who discovered electricity? Benjamin Franklin. You calling out dead people, you ain't invoking the dead with white folk, but you call on your own ancestors, and it's all of a sudden invoking the dead. We got a long way to go, people. Don't be, look at somebody near you and say, don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't be ashamed of who you are. For over 2,000 years, we have wholeheartedly accepted the Eurocentric idea of religious thought, and we're still not saved. What do I have after the word saved? Right. You know why? Because the word save in the Bible, brother. What's your name, man? David, brother David. In the Bible, the word saved is the root word sozo. S-O-Z-O. Sozo means to be liberated. It does not mean to go up in the sky. It does not mean to be redeemed from sin. It means to be made to stand upright, to be liberated, to be empowered, to be whole. That's what the word sozo means. So when a person asks me now, Christians come up to me and say, "Are you saved?" I say, "Yeah, I'm saved." Now do I really know what it means? Yes, I'm saved. I've been liberated. I've been set free. We're not. Where has it gotten us as a people? 2,000 years of this European program. More confused than ever. Now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is what I call confused. This is in Accra, Ghana. a crown, garment, right? Notice this. Here you have the Janine,
That's right. That's right.
okay, which is the Adinkra symbol, which means only God. And the hand, the physical representation of the Janine is holding that one finger up like this. All my life growing up in church, I wanted to know why black folk held that one finger up when they got ready to leave out the church. When they get up, they do.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all ever see that?
That's right.
I thought, when I was a little boy, I thought it meant number one. You know, that's all it was going. But it means only God. That's what it means. Pointing up, only God. That is the hand symbol for this Adinkra symbol here, the Janine. Okay, but what's confusing is, how do you take the cross of the Roman Catholic Church and combine it with this Adinkra symbol of our African ancestry? And then you have what's called the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. More confused than ever. The need today, brothers and sisters, for black Africans. Y'all all right? Yes, all right. The need today is for black Africans who have been divinely called out and set apart for the particular purpose and or mission of liberating, resurrecting, and empowering other black Africans to get serious about their assignment. Everybody say this. Church. Now, I want y'all to hear what I'm about to say, because one of the things that many of us are is anti-church. Okay? Follow what I'm saying. I don't want to have nothing to do with the church. I hear it from a lot of our people. Okay? And I try to get them to understand the church is really the only vehicle that we have left in this country for our liberation. That's where our people are. You follow what I'm saying? Now, what you need to understand is, what does the word church even mean? A lot of people think it's the building. Church is not a building. Church are the people. And the word church comes from the root word ekklesia, which means, check this out, ain't got nothing to do with religion. The word ekklesia, or the root word, the etymological meaning of the word church, comes from this definition: a people or a group of people who have been called out from the masses for a particular purpose or mission. That's what it means. That's what we're supposed to be about. We're supposed to be about the mission of liberating our people. Okay, so if your organization that you call church ain't about that, you need to address that. If you're giving them your money, you got the right to address it. Get serious about our assignment. Stop being distracted and do what you're designed to do. Oh man, something just dropped to me. Do what you are designed to do. Yeah. Ask the person nearest you, what did you come out of your mama's womb for? That's a good question. What did you come out of your mother's womb for?
Roll the planet.
Now follow what I'm saying. Let me use this analogy right quick. Let me kind of deviate from this for about 3 minutes and drop this analogy on you. And if there are any children in here, I want the children to take this so they can teach it to others and learn and live by it. How many of y'all know what a hammer is? Yeah. Okay, imagine in your mind a hammer that can talk. Okay, a talking hammer. Okay? This hammer is bored because it has no idea what it's supposed to be doing. So the owner of the hammer one day, he wants to tear down some sheetrock in his home. So he grabs his hammer, he picks it up, and he begins to bust up the sheetrock. And the hammer says, oh man, this feels good. Oh, I'm finally being used. But something is missing. Something's still not quite right. And he puts the hammer back in the toolbox. A couple of days later, he comes back because he done hit the curb and bent his hubcap up. He reaches in the toolbox and he grabs his hammer and starts banging the hubcap out to straighten it out. And the hammer says, oh, this feels good. It feels good being used. I have a sense of worth. but something's still not quite right. Next week, next door neighbor comes over and says, "Hey man, can I borrow your hammer? I don't know where I placed mine." He says, "Sure." Gets the hammer for him. Hammer gets excited. I'm getting ready to get used again. Getting ready to get used again. So the next door neighbor takes a hammer and he gets some nails and he puts a nail up on her and he hits the nail, pow, with the hammer. And all of a sudden the hammer hears music. Hammer says, "Oh, shoot. Oh, that felt good. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was made for. I wasn't made to bust up sheetrock. I wasn't made to straighten out hubcaps. I was made to drive nails and wood." Now, what's the lesson to be learned in that? A lot of you guys sitting here right now, you're spending a whole lot of your energy doing everything but what you are designed to do. Y'all get that? Find out what it is that you were made for. Find out what it is you're supposed to be doing and do that, because otherwise you'll be doing everything else that everybody else wants you to do. And at the end of your life, man, it'll all be wasted. I just had to slip that in there for somebody. Christianity and African consciousness are 100% incompatible. Notice what I got here, Christianity and African consciousness. I didn't say religion and spirituality this time. Okay? Reason I didn't is because I want you to really bring it home now. Right African consciousness is spirituality. Y'all got me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Religion, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, Hebrew Israelitism, incompatible with spirituality. So what do? We must realize we were conquered in the name of Jesus. This is, it's really deep, because when I was growing up in the church, I used to see this hanging over the pulpit all the time. I don't know how many of y'all ever seen that in your church? Hanging over the pulpit. And in most communion tables and all that kind of stuff, you'll see that with the letters IHS on it. Right? And all y'all thinking it means in his service. No, IHS don't mean in his service. Okay? The I is there, the H is there, the S is there. They only stopped using the V a few years ago. All right? It's the symbol in Latin. It says in hoc signo vinces, meaning under this sign we shall be victorious, or we shall conquer. Okay? This is what we call the emblem of Knights Templar Masonry. I don't know how many brothers in the craft are here. I'm a Knights Templar. Okay, this is what that's the symbol, I should say, that's what they use. I pay my dues so I can talk to the brothers. Because you only came and talk to them if you don't pay the dues. Ain't that deep? You know it's deep, you know why? Because you know why? They think they already know.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And if you're not a part of the order, they feel you don't have the knowledge.
Exactly.
Okay, so therefore they feel, you can't talk to us because you don't know. So if you pay some money, all of a sudden you got all this knowledge. That's why people, and mind you, brothers and sisters, a whole lot of our brothers are in the crowd and don't know why they're in there. They're in there for favors and stuff. We must understand there's a war going on. Look at this brother. That was me, y'all. I was there. He's sincere. Don't ever forget that. But he's sincerely wrong. He got this little innocent sister over here trying to make some sense of it all. And then she grows up and she don't challenge it no more. We must break the last bond of slavery. What is that bond? Religion. That's the last bond of slavery, y'all. We have excelled in economics. We've excelled in politics. Look at, they got this dude. I'm not even going to comment. Trying to get past it, though. In entertainment, we've excelled. In finance, we've excelled. We got black millionaires now, black billionaires, okay? We've excelled in all these areas. Okay, we've excelled in all these areas. I'm talking about finish. We've excelled in all these areas. Okay? But the one area that we're still bound, man, is in religion. Stop perpetuating the lie. Okay? Brother, you got your Bible? Write these down right quick. You ain't got time to read it now. Romans 3 and 7. Romans 3 and 7 actually Paul actually tells you he lied. That's some deep stuff. Okay, let's read that one verse, man, right quick. Y'all don't believe I'm saying? Here, let him read it.
Dr. Ray, you got all the time you need for right now.
Okay. Well, see, when I stop, I wanted to come back for Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Right, there you go.
Okay. What does Romans 3 and 7 say, man? Check this out, y'all. This is going to blow your mind. It's in their Bible. What does it say, brother?
For if the truth of God has more abound through my life
For what?
unto his glory.
No, you didn't read it. Say it again. If the truth of God,
If the truth of God has more abounded through my life.
through my lie. You sure the word lie is in there?
Unbelievable.
It's right there in their own book. Paul, supposed to be Paul, is actually telling me he lied. He lied, man. And you know what's really deep about it? In the Christian church, they don't teach so-called the teachings of Jesus. It's the teachings of Paul.
That's correct. That's correct.
All Christian doctrine is based on the Pauline epistles.
Right.
And yet in Romans 2:16, 16:25, and 2 Timothy 2 and 8, he actually tells you that he made up this gospel. We got to know our story above his story. We must ask, where did this message of the fall of man, death, burial, resurrection, ascension, mediatorship, and return of the Savior originate? Let me move quickly through this. The Adam and Eve story. That's where they stole it from.
Right.
That's where they stole it from, man. Here you have on the wall, the relief on the wall in the temple of Ramses III. Ramses sitting on the square. He asked God for wisdom to rule his kingdom. So God sent him a woman. He asked for wisdom. And by the way, the etymological word for the word wisdom is the word Sophia. So God sent him a woman to give him wisdom. And you see her taking fruit
Right.
from the tree of knowledge. The white man saw this and turned it all around.
That's right.
That's right.
You get the picture? See, this is what I call evidence that demands a verdict. First African resurrection account. This blew my mind. I picked this book up when I was one day and it freaked me out, man. Notice what it says. The central figure of each ancient Egyptian religion was Osiris, and the chief fundamentals of his cult were the belief in his divinity, death, resurrection, and absolute control of destinies, bodies, and souls of men. The central point of each Osirian religion was his hope of resurrection in a transformed body, which could only be realized here through the death and resurrection of Osiris. When I read that, I said, what the hell is this? Now, mind you, the reason why I had that reaction is because what I'm reading is thousands of years
That's right.
older than some Christianity.
That's right.
But yet I was preaching that. I was preaching this. But it wasn't about Osiris.
Right?
Right.
It was about Jesus.
Right. That's right.
And then they told me that Jesus was the only person that this story applied to. So somebody's lying. Notice what it says. You know, he talked about Jesus' human nature, his divine nature. Notice what it says here about Osiris. His human nature, they thought, enabled him to understand the needs, troubles, and griefs of men and to listen sympathetically to their prayers. And his divine nature gave him powers to help him in this world and in the next. That's what they told me about Jesus, though. Tower of Babel. Oh, it gets better yet. There's your Tower of Babel. Don't take my word for it. Those of you who get your Bible, look at Genesis 11th chapter, verses 4 and 5. Get your Strong's Concordance so you can see the real meaning of the word. You look up the word tower in the Strong's Concordance, and it actually says a pyramid structure. Woo! From the Hebrew word Migdol, M-I-G-D-O-L. A pyramid structure. That's your Tower of Babel that they wanted to stop. The African Immaculate Conception story. Look at that, man. Here we go. This is the relief in the wall, on the wall inside the temple of Hathor in Dendera. Here we have, y'all know the story about Osiris?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who does not know that story? Let me see your hand. Okay, for those who don't know, let me, especially this young brother right here, because you got to teach this, man.
That's right.
Okay? The story is that Osiris, who we've been talking about, all right, the first king, pharaoh of ancient Kemet, okay, his brother, evil brother Set, got jealous of him and wanted to kill him. So his brother tricked him, okay, made him jump into a coffin, nailed it shut while he was still in it, okay, and kind of got rid of him. They found him, came back. This time Set said, okay, we'll get rid of you for real. He cut his body up into 14 pieces, okay? One of the pieces, he threw it in the Nile River. Now, this is a story. Now, this didn't really happen. It's a story. One of the pieces, he threw it in the Nile River, and the crocodiles ate it. Anybody know what piece that was? The phallus. That's right, okay? So, his wife, Set, she went out and found the pieces of her husband's body, but she only found 13 pieces. She assembled him back together. What is the message to be learned in there, sisters? That you got the power to reconstitute your man. Yes. Did y'all hear that? Yes. Okay? She found a piece of her husband's body and reconstituted and put him back together. Now the thing is, here's how deep her power is. You see, she got one hand over his head and another one underneath his head. And she's giving him her energy. Yes. Okay? And he comes back to life. He reaches up and he says, oh yeah, buddy. And he reaches up to grab that part that he has to make love to his woman, but it's not there. He said, oh man, what am I going to do? You know, I want to make love to you, baby, but I... So she said, don't worry about it, I got this. She transforms herself into a bird.
That's right.
You see it here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and she hovers over the part where his penis would be, and she flaps her wings. And just see that thing in your mind. She's flapping her baby. And she's flapping with such intensity that he ejaculates without a penis.
That's right.
That's right.
And the story here is she receives his sperm without penetration. That's where they stole and came up with the story of the Immaculate Conception or the virgin birth. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Here you see her sitting on the birthing stool to give birth to the virgin-born Christ child. That's where they stole it from. Where did Trinity originate? There's your Trinity. Father, Son, and Mother. But the white man got a problem with the woman. Always had a problem with the woman. When you go to Kemet, you see what I'm talking about. All over Kemet, man, all of the women in the release, they've chiseled the female image out. Wow. Okay, so what they did is they got rid of the woman. And instead of Father, Son, and Mother, it's now Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Got rid of her and replaced her with a ghost. How can you have a son without a mother? Virgin Mary. This brother just covered this on real quick. Look at that. This is the oldest statuette on the planet of mother and child. That statue right now is in the Nubian Museum in Aswan. It's about 1.5 to 2 inches tall. Okay? Dates back anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 years BC. Long before some Mary and Jesus. That's what the Roman Catholic Church copied in 381. You see what I'm saying? They made Mary the mother of God. Black woman, you got a powerful ministry. Don't ever forget it.
That's right.
Okay? And brothers, we got to get rid of this European influence that's been put into our minds.
That's right.
We got to understand that we can go nowhere without our women.
That's right. That's right.
My brother, my good brother and friend, Dr. Shaka Musa Balashango, called y'all God's guardian angel. And that's exactly what you are, women. The intercessory ministry of the Son to the Father. How many of y'all ever heard this phrase, no man can come to the Father but by me? Y'all ever hear that before?
Yes, sir.
And we were taught that that's what Jesus said, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is where they got it from.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, this is your intercessory ministry of the Father, Osiris or Asar, the Son, Heru.
That's a son.
Yes,
That's Heru.
that's Heru or Horus. All right, the son of Osiris. Okay, and notice Heru is bringing a brother to the Father. This is where this concept comes from. No man can come to the Father except the Son bring him. They copied that and put it in the Bible and got you thinking you can't come to God unless Jesus brings you. To Amen. That's his burial mask. Everybody think that's what he looked like too. Because we don't know no better. And then France, they came up with this new image of him.
Oh,
Seen that? That's Tutankhamun according to the white man. But so that you will know, that's the real Tutankhamun. That's right. Big difference. We must return to our ancient writings, family. Okay, if you don't have these books, I encourage you to get them. This Lucia book of Coming Forth. Now, what's really deep about it is I know the brother who wrote these books. His name is Dr. Maulana Karanga. He and I are very good friends. I know him. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, I know him. Who wrote the book of Daniel? You don't know. Who wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? You don't know. Who wrote Acts, Romans, Philippians? You don't know, but yet you say that that's God's word.
That's right. That's right.
Come on, people. Why esteem the writings of somebody you don't have no idea who wrote it over and above your own authors?
That's right.
Let's go back to our people. We must honor the ministry of our ancestors and understand the symbology and meaning of the cross. I just told y'all about agape. There's agape right there.
That's right.
They got rid of the womb of the woman and replaced it with a small phallus. When a big phallus meets a small phallus, that ain't right. That's pedophilia. Thank you, brother. Don't be afraid to incorporate your African self in your church. All right, that's the altar that we have at the African Village where I serve as the chief elder. All right, don't be afraid to be your African self. If you got a church that you go to, and I'm not asking you to leave your church, okay, help transform that thing into what it's supposed to be. All right, get them to start teaching what's supposed to be taught to black people. Okay? And don't be afraid to incorporate your African self. Brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for listening. We're going to take, Brother Sarnetta said we're going to take a 10-minute break.
We're going to take a 10-minute break and come back for questions and answers. Get y'all questions ready.
Q&A, all right?
Go out there, support the vendors. Brother Ray got a table over there. He got a lot of his stuff over there and the CDs. Go out there and support so we can keep this going on.
As he said, my name is Chameleon, and I'm coming to you because I would like to introduce myself as well as my product to you. It's called Orgology, and Orgology is a 4-disc set of compilation of hip-hop and soul to reprogram your mind from mainstream hip-hop. It's a scientific program, basically. It's literally to program you. If you understand what music does to your subconscious, then you understand what I'm talking about. Each disc is targeted at a chakra. And so it's formulated, each disc is formulated for you to begin an introspection of self, understand how you relate to the collective, as well as it bridges the gap between the generations. So the younger ones are looking to the elders for advice, and it also bridges the gap between Africa and the diaspora. So I am selling my product out back, as soon as you leave outside, and if you are unable to get my product, call me or check out my website. My telephone number is 443-257-4212. And my website is chameleon.com. C as in Charlie, AM as in Mike, ILYAN as in November. Thank you.
Brother Herman Smalls.
Thank you. I'll be brief. This brother's dropping so much stuff. My head is just rocking. I had always used spirit and soul interchangeably. You know, the stuff he dropped with that just is opening me up. But my particular field is physical fitness. I have none of my products with me today, but I want to drop this on each and every person here. The most revolutionary thing you can do is to monitor how you nourish yourself. That's right. What you put in this temple is going to ultimately build and nourish this mind. So if you're putting in toxins and processed foods and drinking all kinds of stuff and eating everybody else's food that's not healed and made with love, you're breaking yourself down. So my name is Herman Smalls. My company is Specialized Fitness and Nutrition. If you want to find out more about it, specializedfitness.com, specialized with the D, fitness.com. And let's just absorb more and sit at this warrior scholar's feet and just get as much information as he has. Thank you.
Last but not least, we got the Kabbalah King sitting over here.
I told everybody before, Hotep. I told everybody before that our enemy has a blueprint called the killing of the king. So it's not really about being a king. We just want to be benefactors of all of what our ancestors have left behind in the form of all the different spiritual systems. We just want to fill in the blanks with Kabbalah because, you know, people have been talking about us in all the major books, but now we have a domination over it because now essentially everyone who's been attending the lectures now understands it. So to kind of dovetail off of what the first sister Sister Chameleon came up and spoke about, she created, and this is a time to do it, she created a science. So it's not about we constantly going back and reading, and expanding our consciousness with antiquated stuff. This is the time portals are opening up. This is the time for us to use thought amplification. Meaning that you can think yourself into the very next moment based off of your ability to visualize it. Okay? So now is the time to create our own sciences. Okay? I got a few plugs. Reverend Valentine is coming in June. And you know he's going to keep us, he's going to bring us where we need to be in reference to all the stuff that's going on. They use all these attacks simultaneously. Nappy Headed Hoes corresponds with the Virginia Tech, corresponds with that storm. Now they're also with the films. They're dovetailing all of their agendas together to compress consciousness and take us off of the timeline. Which brings us to this at the Samar Tawhid Kemetic Arts and Science Temple on 116, 106, Kingston. Brother Wayne, Dr. Wayne Chandler is going to come and he's going to speak about time cycles. This exciting event will feature a lecture and same-day workshop. The lecture will explore the impact of artificial man-made time on our physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional health. So with them taking us an hour ahead, a month early, means something. They want to block us from receiving our 2012 ancestral light code transmission. Okay? And the brother True Master and brother Rich, who remembers brother Rich from the Five Bloodlines? The Twisted language. Well, brother Rich and another brother named True Master is one of the premier producers in the music industry. He does a lot of music for the Wu-Tang Clan. But quietly, no one knew that the brother is a master metaphysician and I would say an expert on the neo-renaissance of what Moorish history is about. Because we're still in the Moorish history. It never stopped. It just changed its vector in vain. And with that,
The next page.
okay. Oh, excuse me.
What is the date for the Kingston Smart Tyree?
Okay, excuse me. It's June 2nd, 2007, 3 p.m. Lecture and book signing. Okay, and again, 106 Kingston Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11213. And for those of you who have your Plumas out, pen 718-604-0855 or 347-432-1597 for more information. The next event, same place, Samar Tawhid Comedic Arts and Sciences welcomes Jeremiah Kamara, author of Holy Lockdown.
Yeah.
Okay, does the church limit black progress?
Yes.
This is heavy. Okay, May 5th, 2007, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is also a lecture and a book signing. Same number for further information. I did a lecture on the Kemetic influence on Kabbalah at the Samar Tawhid Center last week. That DVD will be available this week coming up. So make sure you go see Sarnetta, Brother Rich, Brother Azariah, and am I missing somebody? And whoever else.
Wherever you can get the knowledge from.
Wherever you get your information from. And the brothers in the Nubian Nation right there on Flatbush.
Right.
All right?
All right. One last one. The sister want to read her card, and that's it. Oh, no? Okay. So we turn you back over.
He never said what Valentine's.
No, we didn't get a date for that yet. But next month, he's coming up. All right, with that, let's bring back on our soldier, our warrior, Dr. Ray Hayden.
Yeah. Brother Sarnetta, if you turn that on for me, I just want to, a lot of people were asking for my contact information. I'll just leave it up there. Once again, family, I'd like to, it's okay, because this is going to be down anyway. So,
Okay, that's good, that's good.
I'd like to once again say thank you for coming out today to hear me. It is an honor to do this. You know, I don't charge the community for traveling and lecturing. I have a congregation in St. Louis that takes good care of me, and they're willing to share me with everybody else. You know, and so when we travel, you know, we do this out of it's like I said, it's an honor, man. I mean, like the fact that the ancestors and the Creator have chosen me and others, other great warriors, scholars out here, you know, to try to free our people. It is an honor to be a part of that.
That's right.
And again, I thank you for coming. And at this time, I want to do some Q&A. Before getting into the Q&A, let me just preface the Q&A by these words. First of all, okay, that's up there. I was wondering, a lot of people that asked me about my contact information. I got about 3,000 cards at home and never carry them with me. Forget to get them, you know. So it's up there. You can write it down.
Excuse me, can everybody see that? Dim the lights for a minute, and then we're going to turn it back on.
Okay.
So they can see it.
But before
That's good, right there.
before getting into the Q&A, let me preface it by saying, okay. Let me preface it by saying that the Q&A, I hope that you don't think that I'm an answer man.
That's right.
Okay, I'm a student.
There you go.
Okay, I'm still learning. But one of the things I do ask, if you ask me a question, number one, if I answer it, that's my answer. Doesn't mean it's the only answer, it means that that's my answer.
That's right.
You follow what I'm saying? If I don't know the answer, I will say to you, I don't know. Okay? But please, I don't have the energy for debating. You follow what I'm saying? Okay? You ask me, I'm going to answer the best of my ability, and after that, I'm finished with it. Okay? And we'll just move on. If I need to elaborate to clarify some things that I've said, then I will do that to the best of my ability as well. Having said that, let's do some Q&A. Is there a moderator for this?
You, moderator. Good moderator. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Whenever I do Q&A, it's always good to have a moderator.
Okay. I'm going to moderate, but I would like to start with the first question.
Okay.
Then I'll take my moderation rope. Now, you partially answered it. Do you feel that it would be a good tactic for us to, since we have these churches, mosques, and other religious institutions in place, for us to set up a system to infiltrate it and then be in it and then introduce the truth in a manner, and I respected the fact that you said you're not trying to anger someone, because you cannot teach when you're hurting or giving someone something in a negative manner. But would that be successful? And if not, the second part is, if a person sincerely knows this information and they're not teaching it, then are they a willing participant in our oppression?
In answer to your second question, yes. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know several ministers who have this knowledge, are very clear on our ancient African ancestry, but they are not free to teach. It's really kind of difficult unless you are one of these kind of people, man, who are saying, I'm gonna go for broke. Just to tell the truth, I don't care what. But when you got a family to feed and you got bills to pay and your sole source of income is from a church that takes good care of you, okay? A lot of pastors, man, don't want to risk being voted out of their pulpits over trying to share information that's outside of the circle. So, and you know, I'm glad to say we have right now about 8 pastors, no, I'm sorry, more like 11 pastors that are making the transition to African consciousness and coming aboard with the African Village. But the reason why they're doing that is because they have a support system. You follow what I'm saying? I know of a pastor in St. Louis who wears an ankh. And I saw him one day coming out of a breakfast place, and I said, hey man, what you doing with that on? And he said, what? I said, what you got on your chest? He said, I said, you know what that is? He said, yeah, it's an ankh, man. I said, you know what it means? He said, yeah, it's the Egyptian symbol of life. I said, well, why don't you teach this to your congregation? You know, big Methodist preacher there. And his exact words to me was, man, these ends don't want to hear that. Oh, man. That's what he said, you know. He said, man, I've known this for years. He said, I try to share with our people, they don't want to know about it. You know, and the thing is, man, like I said, he's in answer to your question as far as infiltrating, I think the methodology is, yes, infiltrate, ask questions, challenge them, respectfully. You can't go in somebody else's house and try to tell them how to arrange their furniture. You follow what I'm saying? So what you do is you respectfully ask questions in a way that will put that minister in the position to respectfully answer you. And if he doesn't know the answer, most times you'll get this kind of thing. Well, you don't need to know all that. All you just need to know is Jesus died for your sins, you know. Well, that's when you have to tactfully and respectfully submit your information to that pastor and ask, well, what about this? Most ministers are not going to take lightly being put on the spot in front of their members. You follow what I'm saying? So the thing is, get them to the side, man. You know,
do it with sincerity.
Yeah, with sincerity. Yes, because you know, again, most of our people out there now mind you, I got to keep it real. You got some preachers out here who know the truth, and they know they're part of the program, and they ain't trying to change that. Those are your mega preachers. Like TD, like Creflo, okay, Eddie, you know, and I know Eddie knows. I know personally that Eddie knows, you know. But these guys, man, are in a situation that they ain't trying to get out of. But most of your smaller storefront preachers in our community, they honestly don't know, man. They really don't know, you know. And it really, if we want to reach our people, forget the mega preachers. You know, reach the smaller guys who really want to know. And you find most of these guys have got good hearts, man, if you just sit down and approach them right. You know?
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to questions next. Right. Now, if you can all stand when you ask a question and project as best as possible. We'll start with the brother right here first.
I know I asked this earlier. This is before you was here, you know, before you actually got started. But my thing is, you know, they always show how strong they are. How do we win this? Like, how do we actually go about, like, you know, I heard that, you know, the infiltration and all of that stuff, but I want your views on how do we win this? Like, what is the deal?
How do we win?
Like, how do we
overcome or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's what it is too.
Okay. May I suggest that you don't be concerned with that?
Okay.
Don't be concerned with winning. Don't be concerned with overcoming.
Right.
Just be concerned with doing your job.
Good.
You follow what I'm saying? The rest of it is the Creator's problem.
Right. He'll put together whatever we
Okay?
need.
Everything, you know, it's, let's put it this way, man. We don't have the power individually
Right.
to change this thing. Okay? We do have the power to make a change, though. All right? And that, so you just do what you
Do
do.
your part.
Just do what you do. It's like, imagine your body, okay? Every organ in your body has its job. Okay, where we mess up is when the foot tries to do what the hand does. All right, or I try to be a tongue. You see what I'm saying? Just do what you do. And the rest will be inevitable, man.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? The ancestors are at work. You can't make a person come around. You can't do that, okay? Only thing you can do, man, is your job may be to just drop seeds, man. You know, see, the thing is, we want to see people change their mind. Okay, the brother who dropped that seed in me in 1987 about the real Horus of ancient Egypt, he wasn't even around when that seed germinated. You see, so the thing is, man, your thing may just be to drop a seed or whatever. You know, somebody else may come and water that seed, man. You know?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So you just do what you do.
So, and to keep divine order, let's go brother, sister. So, can I get a sister of the universe? Could you stand, please?
Thank you, Dr. Higgins. I was
You're
late
very welcome,
entering.
sister.
Thank you. So what book are you using in your church, if you shared that? What book?
You mean
are
what basic
Yes.
scripture text?
Yeah, are you leading your congregation?
Actually, if you were to ask people from the African village, what is our scripture text, they would tell you the Hosea.
You see it. Thank you.
Okay? However, we use the Hosea, we use the Quran, we use the Bible.
Which
I use an email.
Bible?
King James, New International Version, the Message. See what I'm saying? The Good News Bible, today's English version. It depends on, you know, how clear I want to make my point and what version says it best. You follow what I'm saying? The only reason why I do use the King James when I do use it is because that's the book that we were all raised on. You know, and most of the King James version of the Bible, since I'm there, is the authorized version. Why is it the authorized version of the Bible? Not because it is right. The King James Bible is the #1 selling book in the world.
Yes, it is.
And the reason why is because of the Masonic order. A lot of people don't know that. The King James version of the Bible will always be the authorized version. I don't care how many versions they come out with after that. The Masonic order must have the King James version of the Bible to exist. Okay? All of the code words and passwords that Masons use are from the King James translation of the Bible. So since the Masonic order is the most powerful organization on this planet, the King James version of the Bible is always going to be the authorized version.
Excellent.
Because if you get rid of that, Masons can't talk to each other in secret. It ain't got nothing to do with religion. A lot of people don't know that.
All right, we'll go over this side, brother, right here.
I know you, brother. But anyway, I
Yes,
want to
brother.
ask you,
It's so good to see this brother, y'all. Forgive me, man. We went to high school together.
also, I'm going to ask a question, but because I was in the socialism for a while, other little things, and because you're trying to find the truth about the oppression, you're concerned with black people being oppressed and whatnot, and you come back, you had to get entrenched in the church. You had to be inside the apple before you, and figure out like a worm how to come out of it.
Yeah.
So we all searching for the truth. You just, all roads lead to Rome, just to use an allegory. I got to go different routes in order. But anyway, the point I want to make, or the question I want to ask is that when they say the second coming of the Son, it's not so much the second coming of the Son, but the second coming, not the S-O-N, but the S-U-N, that we're going into a different cycle. We're leaving the moon cycle, which lasted for roughly maybe you've heard this before, which lasted 6,000 years, European domination and influence and whatnot. We're now going into the sun cycle. As a result of that happening, will that help to awaken our brothers and sisters, enough of them, because this is really our time.
Yes,
We just don't know it. Will enough of them be awoken before all these calamities? We see them on an everyday basis, tsunamis and all. will enough of them awaken in order for us to reclaim our destiny?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's
I have absolutely no idea. My answer to your question is pretty much like I told the brother here. What I do hold to, brother, with everything in me, is that the power of our ancestors and the Almighty is real. And I believe that they are using us to awaken our people. And I believe that they are really the ones in charge of this whole thing. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's why I say, as far as, let me drop and say this. When I concern myself with how many of our people are waking up, I get depressed. And when I get depressed, I can't do my thing right. You see what I'm saying? So I had to literally ask the Creator to help me stop focusing on who is and who is not responding and just do what I do. You see what I'm saying? And it's deep, man, because when I took that attitude, that's when my listener base to Black Liberation Radio jumped up to 187,000 people. You see what I'm saying? Not that I was trying to make that happen, but it was like, God, just help me do what I'm supposed to do. That's it. That's all I want you to do. In fact, I even told the people at the village in St. Louis, I said, I'm not trying to reach the world. I'm trying to reach you brothers and sisters right here at 3520 North Newstead Avenue. That's it. That was my focus, I'm still not trying to go worldwide. It's just happening, People are coming up to me every city I go in, man. People are coming up to me because of brothers like this dude right here. Because of Brother Sarnetta. Get my message out there, and I'm saying, like, look what the Creator's doing, man. So we're probably touching lives, man, that we will never know about. People who are sitting and listening in their homes, they may not come out and join the organization or join the movement, but they're at home getting right knowledge, being transformed in the privacy of their own space, That's not my problem. My problem is just do what I'm supposed to do, and the Creator and the ancestors do the rest.
Exactly.
So that's the best answer I have for you on that, man. Okay?
Very good.
All right?
Sister in the white t-shirt, same.
My question is, why does it seem like this year seems to be like a lot of childbirths, and it seems like there's more girls born this year?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea.
Do you know about the DT Satis? That's Khanum's daughter. Satis. You don't know anything?
No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Take the brother with the striped shirt.
Twice in your presentation, you used a book for your source, The Golden Stool, by Edwin Smith. Can you give some background? 'Cause I've never heard about the book and information. So can you kind of give some information about what the book's about? And
actually, the book is a strategic plan for the colonizing of Africa. Okay, and of course, in my research, looking up the colonizing of Africa or the Europeanization of the African mind, things like that. That's one of the sources that came up.
Okay.
Okay, and as I began to, read the excerpts from it, I saw that and I said, man, look at this. Here it is clear as day. Now the thing is, you can get the book, but you have to find like one of these rare book kind of places. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Edwin W. Smith. The book is called The Golden Stool. Edwin W. Smith is the author. Yes.
And in the infinite wisdom of one Sarnetta, we're going to alter the format just a bit. We're going to have the sisters form a short line right there, and the brothers will ask some questions and form lines right here.
That way we ain't got to go through them. Right.
That way we'll alternate.
Now, do me a favor. Grab that sister over there, because she had my hand.
Brother Mel, come up, Mel. Mel, come here, Mel. Let Mel get right here, because he was right. He was next.
That sister had my hand up for the longest over there on the wall. Come on down, sweetheart.
Mel, touch it down.
Yeah.
Come on.
Does that empty line mean there are no other sisters that want to ask any questions?
Brother, you definitely have questions too. I want my question to you, because everybody, they mean well, but they're not coming straight home with the question.
Uh-oh.
Now, I want to know, do you Brother Ray Higg, Dr. Ray Higg, and I have the utmost respect for you.
Okay.
Because I got all your material, I read it, I just spent $100 buying some more. So I'm with you.
All right, thank
But
you.
my question is, do you bear witness that the black man is God and the white man is the devil? And you ain't got to hesitate.
No.
You ain't got to go.
Let him answer the question, brother.
Let me answer. It depends on what paradigm you're talking, brother.
I'm talking about in reality.
No, that's your reality. Now, follow me.
That's about reality now.
You want to answer?
And the brother did say he wasn't debating today.
Let me answer.
That debates the question.
No, here's the answer. See, it depends on what paradigm or what level you want me to answer that. Now, if you want me to answer it on my level, I would tell you that God and the devil is one and the same.
That's right.
But now, if you want me to come down to the level of revolutionary thought and African politics in the society, I would say yes.
Very good answer. I agree. I mean, because you went to the spiritual,
That's
you
right.
went down to the mental,
There
then
you go.
came on down to the physical and the manifestation of the works, actions, deeds. So you're right.
That's the old God right there, Melchizedek. Give it up for Melchizedek, y'all.
I know I'm going to have to explain about God and the devil being one and the same, right? Okay.
Now, we know that, man. We know that science.
But no, somebody doesn't. You know?
All right.
My sister's answer the question.
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Good.
As babies, we know from our mothers that God is somebody outside of us.
Yes.
And we grew up learning that. But now we begin to revolutionize and realize that God is within us.
Yes.
I have almost all the tapes, so. But sometimes when you refer to God, it still sounds like the Christian outer body God up in the sky.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can't work with it too much.
I got you.
I still hear you refer to the Creator, and it still sounds like somebody that do this creation, and you know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you could clear it up,
I certainly do the
and I'm
best
glad
I
to meet you
can.
face to face. I'd love if you do that for me, please. Because, you know what I mean? The God outside and...
I got you. I got you. Okay, well, don't go nowhere now. I'm going to talk to you face to face. No, I'm kidding. You have, I'll answer. I understand what the sister's saying because many times when I do talk or make reference to God or the Almighty, I do sound as though I'm speaking of the all, which I am speaking of the all. If you remember the illustration that I had on the wall, on the screen, excuse me, the innermost circle was spirit. Does everybody remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The all, or the Almighty, is omnipresent. All right? Somebody say omnipotent, huh? Omnipotent, okay? Omniscient. Okay, these are what we call attributes of the divine or the Almighty that are not communicable attributes. When we say communicable attributes of the Almighty, we mean attributes that can be communicated to a human being or the human level of existence. You have levels of existence here. You have what you call the mineral kingdom. You have the vegetable kingdom. You have the animal kingdom. You have the human kingdom. And then you have the divine kingdom. Okay? The all exists on the divine kingdom. We are smaller versions of the all. You got me, sister? Okay, now, again, that inner circle that you saw on the wall is spirit. The all is spirit. Now, I don't know, I'm going to do the best I can in making this clear to y'all. Spirit, follow me, man, I'm going to walk on this one.
I got you.
Spirit is all of itself at whatever point it is. Okay? In other words, all of us have spirit. And the spirit, that inner circle in all of us, is all a part of the one. All. spirit. Am I making sense? Okay. So from that perspective, that's the part where we need to understand that we do not have all of the all in us from the perspective of meaning that it's nowhere else but in us. Did I lose you? Okay. However, we do have all of the all in us, in our spirit, or the spirit in us, simply because wherever spirit is, all of it is there at that point. Am I making sense? Yes. See, it's kind of hard sometimes to describe a divine reality on a human perspective. So I'm doing the best I can with that. So when I do refer to the Creator, sister, or God, I'm not just talking about spirit in me. I'm talking about that which fills the all, that which is that which there is no place where it is not. That which encompasses that which stands outside of time and looks at time like you and I would look at a dot on a page. That's what I'm talking about when I refer to God or the Almighty. You see what I'm saying? That part of us that's really above us, and yet we have it in us. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I hope I answered you. Okay.
In the interest of those who will see this on DVD, could you expound upon God and the devil being one before we get too far along? Then we go right to the
Okay. The best analogy to give you for that, brothers and sisters, is say fire. You know, fire. We say fire is good because it cooks our food. We say fire is bad because it burned our house down. Okay? There is really no such thing as God and the devil as two separate entities. That is European thinking.
Teach. That's right, sir.
Okay? That is called lateral thinking of either or. Okay? That's not the way Africans think. That's the way the white man thinks. Okay? It's either good or bad. It's either good God or devil. It's either, you know, the Africans always thought holistically. Okay? It's all a part of the one. All right? That's the African way of thinking. When you really develop that concept of thinking, you realize that the bad that happened to you was not the devil. That was God at work. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, you realize that the Creator is at work allowing this event to take place in your life for your growth, to get you where you're supposed to be.
That's what it is. You got that in the book.
You see? So there is really, you know, I remember the first time I told this to a brother who was associate minister of mine, and his knees got weak. And he had to grab the back of the car where we were standing talking, you know. And I said, God, please don't let this brother walk off and leave the church, because I need his help here, you know, because he had never heard that before. You see what I'm saying? Because we've been taught that God is up there and the devil's down there. You know, the Orientals really symbolize this thing in the symbol called the yin yang. You see what I'm saying? You can't have one without the other. All right, it's the balance. Okay, you know, it's male, female. All right, strong, weak. You know, God, set, or Asar and Set. Okay, so really, it's really one. All right, it's just that the way we think. When stuff bad happens to us, we call it the devil. When stuff good happens to us, we call it God. And again, once you really develop to the point in your growth to where you realize it's all one and the same, your life will level out. All right, you won't have up and down experiences. I'm up today and down tomorrow. You know, sad today and happy tomorrow. Okay, you realize that everything that's happening in your life is happening because it's all a part of making you what you're supposed to be.
Right, divine order.
Divine order.
Yes. I just want to ask, doing my research, I found it very difficult to find a lot of the myths and things that you've been teaching about the Bible. In this short few months, I've learned so much listening to your website. Have you written a commentary, a study guide that one can read along the Bible to kind of decipher all of the myths? And also, how can one get involved to start an African village here in New York?
You see, I looked over at my sisters there, right? We've been talking about that, and we're actually, our goal for that is by the end of this year, we should have a more definite. I know when I spoke it, and again, it's good to see my family from Smiley Taiwi Temple here. When I was here last, I think I mentioned to everybody, and I'll say to you too, family, kind of keep your eyes open for a meeting place. Because one of the things we want to start trying to do is get a study group going here in the New York area, even if it's on a meeting once a month. You see what I'm saying? You know, that's how we're growing right now around the country, you know, by establishing study groups. We just started one last week in Atlanta. You know, I just accepted a professorship at Georgia Perimeter College there. And the college has actually made the lecture hall available to what we're doing. So maybe something like that can even maybe work out here. I don't know. That was about the study group thing. The first part of your question was?
Have you written a commentary?
No, I haven't. No, the only thing I have, brother, is notes from my lectures and my research. That I do make a lot of that available on my website, okay, in the research page. It has been my goal to do a book, and hopefully by the end of this year I'll get that done. All right?
Yes, brother. You.
Where the sisters at? I thought we was alternating. I thought so. Okay. All right.
Okay. You talked about the organized church, and we could say that, you understand, organizations that are based on lies would always be stronger than enlightened people, intuition people who are individuals. And I looked at your diagram, your body, soul,
yes,
spirituality. One. In the middle, you had intuition, I think intrinsic, I forgot the other.
Intuition,
but how could you ever coordinate from people's intuition? Because the strength of the intuitions will be different in each individual. Some people might not have none. How could you ever coordinate and organize yourself on such, I think, a weak basis?
Or random basis.
Random basis.
I don't understand your question.
I think what he's saying, almost sounds like a Eurocentric perspective in the individual. If I got a big car, a big house, I don't care if my brother's eating out the garbage can. In a sense, from a negative perspective,
okay,
it's such a seemingly a way to divide people. Everyone seeking to tap into their own special thing and not really having something that would motivate a whole collective. Is that kind of?
Well, basically, you had the middle under spirituality. You had, was it intrinsic? You had intuition and
intuition, communion, and conscience.
What individualism?
Intellect.
Intellect.
That's in soul.
Okay, with this based on intuition, how could you coordinate anything?
What do you mean by coordinate?
Organize, coordinate, structure.
Like a mass movement.
When people's intuitions are different, you know, the church, their thing is mundane, is easy. Okay, I mean the organized church. When you deal with such subtle things like that, how could you ever coordinate yourself?
You mean to start a movement to get the masses?
A movement to your own structure, to your own institution.
No, what he's saying is like they follow the Bible with easy. It's a structure. Right. But how can you? Where's the structure of intuition?
Okay. What is the structure of intuition? Yeah. Do you understand what intuition is?
I think so.
What do you think I mean by intuition? Maybe that's the problem.
Intuition is more. I would think is something. Individualistic feelings, what I feel, or the feelings I have to something. I get a feeling that something's going to happen. That's intuition.
Excuse me, brother. Can I jump in? We spoke on the break, and I was talking about common sense.
Yes.
And you said to remind you about that.
Yes.
This might be along the same lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Common sense is that feeling, that knowingness that we all have inside.
Exactly. The knowing.
And that can be
the knowing.
Yes. The
exactly.
knowing. Maybe that.
But I'm still trying to understand his question. I mean, I'm trying to understand. What I'm trying to understand here is.
You're saying not everybody has common sense. Not everybody has that.
Everybody does have common sense.
No, some people have
no common sense. Tell me if this.
Now follow what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. Okay. Follow what I'm saying. Now.
That's right.
Now. Everybody does have common sense. They may not listen to it. Right. You follow what I'm saying? See, intuition, man, is that part in us that knows. Period. Intuition is that part in us that as soon as you meet somebody, okay, as soon as you meet them, something inside you says, I don't know about that person.
That's right. That's right. But that's on the individual level.
Yeah.
How do you collectively
I said that at the beginning, that spirituality is individual.
That's how do you collectively organize that, to bring that together, coordinate that to some massive institution?
Now I got you.
Okay.
Now I got you. Now I got you. Okay, thank you, brother. That's why it's important for us, brother, to have a mission statement. That's why it's important for us to be on one accord. What divides us is all these other belief systems. That's why we can't come together. It's not because of individualized intuition. Because, see, the same power that pricks your intuition. Same power. The problem that we have with intuition is the thing in the soul called intellect. You follow what I'm saying? In other words, when our intuition, when the light bulb in our intuition goes off, our intellect kicks in and says, well, I don't agree with that.
There it is.
I don't see it that way. See, that's intellect talking. And once we learn to keep intuition and intellect in their prospective places, we'll be able to function better in unity. Okay? For example, I once had a brother come to the village and he listened to it. He said, brother, listen. All my life I was raised in church. And I know, inside my gut, I know that everything you're saying is the truth. But I don't agree with it. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right, brother.
Why didn't he agree with it? Because of his intellect. See, in our intellect is the data and information that we acquire from teachers or research or whatever. Intuition doesn't have no room for that. Intuition is 1,000% void of academia. That's why our elders, who didn't go to school like many of us did, got more wisdom than we had.
That's right.
Because they lived by the intuition. You understand what I'm saying, bro?
Intellect tells you to prove
what the intuition
suggests to you. Intellect tells you to prove it.
That's intellect. Again, intellect
can't prove
the intellect demands information. That's my point.
Okay.
Intellect demands information, intuition doesn't.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, brother.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Okay. It's true that the Bible is an allegorical book, right?
The Bible is an allegorical book. It's a metaphorical book. It's hyperbole. It is a political weapon. It is a silent weapon. And yet at the same time, with all that, there are a lot of good statements in the Bible.
That's right.
But there's one in particular. When they speak of the sun over and over, they spell it S-O-N. The sun that they're speaking of is not S-U-N. And the constellations.
What verse are you talking about?
No, I just mean in general. Like, I once heard that the Bible is about the zodiac sign and the sun, S-U-N, as opposed to S-O-N.
Is the brother still here, Brother David? Brother David, turn to Malachi 4:2. Malachi, the 4th chapter, the 2nd verse. I want him to read this for you. Okay?
Unto you that fear my name.
Check it out now. For unto you that fear my name
shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings.
Shall the Son of Righteousness rise with healing in his wings.
Ye shall go forth.
That's good. That's good. Now, for most of us who are not looking at that, we think that that's the S-O-N. Because it said his wings. Right. Brother David, describe the word son. How is it written there?
S-U-N.
S-U-N. And not only S-U-N, but capital S. UN. Rise with healing in his wings. They messed up and left that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? All right?
Yeah. That's good. I thought I saw a sister's hand. No?
Get right back. Now, the brother got to be over here. Come on.
Okay, you got to come over here if you want to go. All right, continue right here, brother.
Yes, sir, brother.
I was asking you earlier. Everyone continues to focus on Kemet or Egypt.
Yes.
What happened to the mother of Kemet, Nubia, which is Sudan, Kush? Why is she put into the background and Kemet is always elevated to that level as being the god, being the civilization of all things?
Got you. What we understand, brother, from the research and data that is available to us, what we do understand is that Kemet is the child of Ethiopia. The only problem is we don't have no artifacts or literature from Ethiopia.
That's correct. That's it. That's correct.
All of our evidence that we have available to us is in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? As far as the reliefs inscribed in stone and and all of the evidence that's available to us is in Egypt. Okay, so that's what you hear. Okay, I don't want anybody to think for one moment that I'm in love with Egypt. I'm not a romantic. Okay, I'm a researcher. You follow what I'm saying? And my research takes me back to the Nile Valley where the archaeological evidence still exists. Yet, in the Nile Valley, there's the evidence that our people who migrated down north to the Nile Valley migrated from up south in the Sudan and Ethiopia. So when our people came into Kemet, okay, they came there already with the master knowledge that they had acquired before even coming there.
Thank you.
Okay, brother?
All right. Tell them about the dam. How many temples is that dam is covering? I mean, like 30, 40 temples is covering.
Oh, yeah. The high dam at the dam in Philae, the temple, and a lot of what is really sad, man, because last year, year before last, when we were over there, I remember the first time I went to Egypt, when we stepped off the plane, there were Nubians that looked like us in this room in the Cairo airport saying, "Welcome home, Nubian Americans! Welcome home, Nubian Americans!" You know, it's really sad, brother, because a couple of years ago, Brother Earl and his wife went with us. We saw one black person in Cairo. Wow. One black person in Cairo, and he was on the Giza Plateau. He's a photographer. Wow. You know, and it's deep because people were saying on the bus, when are we going to see some black people? When are we going to see some black people? Wow. You know, a lot of that has to do with, man, with the racial and ethnic cleansing that's going on in Kemet.
When is your next trip, brother?
My next trip is August 7th through the 18th, but it's already sold out, man. I'm overbooked, in fact. I don't like, you know, there are other groups that take a whole lot of people. That's you know, personally, I think they're just in the business of going to Kemet. And I'm not saying it to knock them. I appreciate anybody that takes a group over. But the truth of the matter is, man, when you're out at the sites, they don't allow you to use an amplification device. Okay, so if you have a group that's more than 40 people, the people in the back can't hear you. Okay, and when you're taking a group over of a couple of hundred people, or if more than 50 people, you know, the people in the back, they can't hear the lectures, on-site lectures, and it's not fair that they spend all that money and they can't hear. Or the group is so big that, you know, by the time the people in the back get caught up to the site, it's time to move on because you got other groups out there too. You know, so I try to limit our group to 40 people. And this year, man, people just signed up so intensely and so quick, we're up to 62. Wow. And the travel agency said, please, no more, don't put no more. Wow. And it's because we had only reserved for 40. You know, so we have to actually, on the return trip this year, we have to actually split the group up. And also, ASCAC is going to be there at the same time, too. So it's going to be powerful this year.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's going to be powerful this year. Right. Yes, brother.
It's funny that you jumped into it because that was going to be my question about Kemet, because you know the it's just rising right now. Just the whole,
It's time,
everybody
man.
is getting back into Kemet.
Yes.
And what I wanted to ask you is, what is the like what's going on over there with the Nubians and everything? Like if brothers wanted to leave here and kind of go there for years, or just find themselves in Egypt, is there a community to welcome them?
Yes, definitely,
Or
brother. Yes.
is there a possibility of going there to build
Yes.
your own community?
Yes, the only thing we must remember, brothers and sisters, is we're talking our home that's no longer our home. Okay? It's been colonized, and they've now passed laws in Egypt, man, that a black person cannot own a business now. Yeah. It's some deep stuff, man, because and again, those women bear witness. When we got to Aswan, now in Aswan, I'm telling my group, when we get to Aswan, you're gonna see a whole lot of Nubians, man. And we got to Aswan, and you saw mostly Arabs, and that's why I'm trying to get as many of our people to go with somebody. Either go with myself, go with Ampin or Ashra or some. Go. Just go, and get the evidence while you can. Okay, go and get it while the evidence is still there. Because they're trying to eliminate it all together. They're trying to eliminate our people through ethnic cleansing. Brother, when we got to Aswan, I'm looking for, the felucca boats. For those who've been, you know what I'm talking about. They want the felucca boats were owned by Nubian brothers. Okay, when we got there, man, the Nubian brothers they can't even use their felucca boats no more.
Are they killing the people?
Huh?
Are they killing the Nubians?
The people are dying off because they blocked off the water, the high dam at Philae, man. What has happened is, our people live off the land. Our people, they are farmers, man. And when the annual inundation of the Nile, when the silt comes over, man, it's just, hey, great crops. But mega corporations are now going over there, man, and with their seedless stuff and cutting off the Nile River, and our people can't survive, man. They can't work for themselves. But then again, that's what they want. They literally want that. So I talked to one of the owners of the felucca boat. His name is Brother Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, where's our people? And when I asked him that, other Arabs were standing around, and I could tell he couldn't talk freely. So when we finally got him to the side, I said, man, where are our people? He said, man, we die off. We die off, man. They cut off the water. They shut the dam, and they cut off the water. And see, that's what I mean by racism.
That's right.
Neely Fuller says it this way, y'all, and our sister, Dr. Cress Welsing, reemphasizes so well. She says, unless you understand racism, what it is and how it works, everything else you understand will only confuse you. Right. And racism, brother, is about annihilating the threat to white genetic survival. And the biggest place that's happening is in the motherland. They're getting rid of black Africans like crazy, brother. And I don't know how many of you, several years ago, they had what's called Earth Summit 2000, where they talked about how will the Earth survive. That was the discussion, and that was in Johannesburg, South Africa. And the leaders of the world, G8 and G20 nations, decided at that summit that we need to get rid of the useless eaters, they called us. Yeah. Wow. And they said what people are the most redundant and troublesome. And the solution was black people. And in the mind of the world's G8 and G20 nations, man, leaders, we don't hold a place in the world market. And that's really what it's boiling down to, brother. It's boiling down to who can bring something to the table. Now, be honest with you, if there's a race of people on this planet who can bring something to the table, it's us. But the thing that won't let us do that is we're still divided. Okay? And what has kept us divided? Religion. That's the thing that keeps us divided, man. If we can all put our religion to a side, I'm serious. If we could all put our religion down And stop saying I'm a Baptist, I'm a Methodist, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. If you can just get rid of all that and just say I'm an African. You can get to where we gotta go. You know? My brother. Hotep, brother.
I just want to make a couple of brief.
Before you do, have y'all ever tasted this brother's cooking? No, sir. You never tasted this brother? Man, can I take this moment to promote the brother?
Yes, sir.
Listen, y'all. I ain't exaggerating. I ain't lying. If I was here, he would be my chef. I mean that with everything in me. If I was here, I would only eat his cooking. You know, y'all stop by the brother's restaurant. It's right across on Kingston Avenue, 111 Kingston Avenue. Go over there. Please go, pretty please. Go over there. I'm serious, y'all. I ain't lying. I'm serious. This brother can throw down, and it's all vegetarian.
What's the name?
Perus. All vegetarian. Please go over there. And I guarantee, listen, if you don't like the food, I'll pay for it. I'm not playing, I mean that. Okay, brother, thank you. He's a blessing to us, man. Support the brother.
I would like to make a statement to help the brother on intuition. In our legacy, there's a name for intuition. The name for intuition in our legacy is called Ampu. Ampu.
That's right,
the jackal. And see, the story says that when Ast and Enbethet, the two sisters cooperated with each other, they wasn't even fighting each other.
Teach, brother.
And when they went looking for the bodies, the pieces, they took Ampu. Because Ampu is the one who is, that don't sound like one.
Right.
That don't look like. That's the principle of tuition within every human being.
Yes, sir.
And it's called Ampu.
Thank you for that, man.
Also, yes.
Yes, sir.
Also, and it's a principle. Ampu is not a god. Ampu is a principle within the human being.
Right.
Osiris is your body. And the principle of Ast is the nurturing principle within us. Now, one powerful thing that our beloved brother said was so magnificent about the records that our ancestors left in Kemet. But we have to understand that Smai Tawi, which is something that we don't even hear about.
That's correct.
And Smai Tawi is the key to our salvation. Because Smai Tawi is when Ethiopia, Uganda, Somalia, Egypt was one powerful nation called Smai Tawi. So in order to get back together, we have to deal with Smai Tawi. And once we hit Smai Tawi, the ball game is over.
How you spell it?
S-M-A-I-T-A-W-I. Smai.
That's why.
Tawi. That's the key to our heart. That's the thing that will unify us.
Y'all have
because our ancestors did it one time,
on top of this.
and we can do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah. S-M-A-I. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, I love you. I love you too, man. Power, you know that, brother. Yes, you know, now.
I couldn't stand up real quick. All I want to say is that how did these mega preachers get their outlets to speak like this on those television?
Say again?
How did these mega preachers get their outlets to speak all over television when you got millions of preachers in America? I mean, just for you to break it down for some folks.
How do they get their outlets?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, well, the first thing you got to understand is the system. The question for those who didn't get it is how is it that the mega preachers got their outlets, okay, to proclaim what they do on such a massive level? Well, the first thing you must understand is that there are some very serious people who are very serious about the promulgation of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
There are some people, man, who have left, what do you call these, endowments, okay? For example, you ever hear of Robert Schuller Crystal Cathedral?
Yes.
Okay? Robert Schuller's Crystal Cathedral was built by members of his church who left their insurance policies to his church. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm talking about people, man, who had mega policies. When they died, all his money went to the church, and that's, you know, and I thought of that concept. I didn't think of that concept. I tried to implement that concept at the African Village.
Not happening.
You see what I'm saying? That's how we think, man. You know, we got to start thinking on a mega level as a people. Now let's look at some of these ministers who went to Rhema Bible Training Center. For those who don't know what Rhema Bible Training Center is, that's Kenneth Hagin organization. Kenneth Hagin is a very rich man. Okay? He turned his ministry into a business. What he did is he opened up his school, or his Bible Institute. It's not even an accredited school. His Bible Institute to black preachers, and told, yes, Creflo went there.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. Creflo went to Kenneth Copeland's.
Okay.
Yeah. Fred Price went to Kenneth Hagin. What they do, man, is they open it up to black preachers, say, come here, let us train you. Not educate you, let us train you in theology and evangelism. And preachers go there for, I think it's like 8 weeks. Okay? And the arrangement, the contractual agreement is, I will help set you up in business. It's like a franchise, man. Okay? I'll put the money up for you, and that's why these guys can come out and start such a elaborate ministry, man, because they got the financial backing of investing in souls for Christ by very rich people. Okay? That's why people, now if you remember, how many of y'all remember this? A few years ago, Fred Price went on the war path against racism. I don't know how many of y'all remember that. Okay? I don't know if y'all know the story behind that. What happened is Fred Price's son wanted to marry Kenneth Hagin's daughter. And Kenneth Hagin made a public statement that my wife will never be married to a Negro. I'm sorry, my daughter will never be married to a Negro. Okay? And man, that Fred Price lost it, because Fred Price was channeling like a couple of $1 million a month to this dude, man. Okay? And Fred Price lost it, man. And so Fred Price went to, he started doing his research on racism and bigotry. And a lot of stuff we're talking about right now, this is when Fred Price came into the knowledge of it. Okay? As a result of researching racism and started looking into our story, about our past. So Fred Price has this knowledge. But the problem was, he started losing money. Okay? Fred Price actually said, I don't care if y'all do stop supporting this ministry. I'm going to teach what I know is right. And people stopped supporting his ministry. And Fred Price was faced with a decision. Do I want to lose what I built? Or do I want to, keep what I built? So we know what he did? After attacking racism for 1 year, he started attacking the Nation of Islam.
That's what he did.
Y'all remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how he got his support.
He started attacking Elijah Muhammad.
Islam. That's right. That's what he did, brother. To get his support. Now that's what you call selling out.
That's right.
Ancestral tree. Yes, thank you, bro. I like that. Ancestral tree.
Okay. We have a sister with a question.
Yeah, one simple question. I want to know your opinion on Oprah Winfrey.
My opinion on Oprah Winfrey. Believe it or not, I don't even watch Oprah. I don't know enough about Oprah. What I will say is this, sister, and I'm very serious about this. Knowing what it's like being in media, being in radio, being in television, I applaud the sister for the accomplishments that she has made. I don't know anymore, other than what I see when I turn on AOL, and there's some hype on what she did or did not do. I don't know anything about all that. So I applaud her as a black woman for the accomplishments that she's made. Now, I will say this. You cannot expect to direct your resources in the upliftment of your people when the people who stand behind you are not your people.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You follow me? I mean, that's just straight up. I don't care if it's Oprah or whoever. That's right. You see what I'm saying? Be that as much money as the sister has, she is not her own boss.
That's right. That's right.
You follow what I'm saying? I mean, she may work for herself, okay? But Oprah is nothing without the networks. I mean, if the networks decide we don't want you on, there's no more Oprah. And the bottom line is, Oprah is more, I'm sure she's more committed to the networks than she is to you. As well as anybody. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're dealing with here.
Okay, so as we start to wind down, there's a question or two.
But one more thing, as we start to wind down, I want to introduce you to a brother who y'all know already. Me, Sarnetta, I have not brought this event on by myself. We have another brother, come on down, Brother Rich. The Underground Railroad Production. This is the brother here that works with me. Shout out Brother Rich. We also work with Moo Production. Anybody from Moo? Anybody out there from Moo? Okay, and we also have the brother right here that work with the Moors.
Right on, brother.
I always try to work with this brother that work with the Moors all the time. You know, this is my man, I love him. But brother, I don't care if you claim your moral status or not, the white man ain't gonna love you no better.
Listen, excuse me.
He's not gonna love you no better. Have we forgotten what Malcolm X told us, man? He don't care if you're a Muslim. He don't care if you're a Jew. He don't care if you're a Hebrew. The white man still see you as a nigga. So you can say I'm a Moor and I'm claiming my moral status all you want. He's still not going to respect you, brother.
Hey, this is my little brother. He always do his Amos and Andy routine. You know, the straight man, the Abbott and Costello.
We're going to go right back to it. I had to get that in there.
Let me drop this on you. Let me drop this on you. I have some brothers who are some Moors, and I understand what they're doing, and I appreciate what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
But you know what's really deep about it is it's not the first time it's been done. Okay? There's a reason why the Nation of Islam is called the Nation of Islam. It's not just a name. Okay? They're trying to acquire national identity. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not the moderator, brother. I see your hand. I'm sure he sees your hand, though. Okay, I got you. You know, acquire national identity. Now, the thing is, this whole concept of the national identity thing, you know, it's real, it's legal. By the letter of the law, it is legal and it's right by the letter of the law. But now everybody repeat this after me.
Say it.
The law is only as powerful.
It's only as powerful
as those in power.
As those in power
are willing to enforce it.
Are willing to enforce it. Right.
Repeat.
Okay, the brother that was standing up.
What you said was great. I had two questions earlier anyway, and you kind of touched on one. Okay. What's my next one then? The brother had something to say more. Make my energy go real. If you don't understand nationality, then you will be under the slave names of Negro, Black, and Colored, which was placed upon us in 1774. You follow what I'm saying? And took it away from us in 1865 by some proclamations. But if you don't know them and you don't become naturalized, you're still under. We got the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. That's what's out. That's how come you under the civil right. What we need to fight for is what that brother's talking about is a human right. And that's under 1320. That's what he just said. If you don't get them to pull that out, you're still there. That's why we're on the scene. To get them to pull that out.
Right on, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And last brief questions because we had the line. You guys should have got up. So very brief. Let's go.
Actually, I want you to follow up.
But before you do that, family, I don't know if you did or not. I don't know. But brothers and sisters, please, if you haven't, support us by stopping by the table out there, table to the right when you go out the door, and purchase our DVDs and CDs. All right, that's how we pay for Black Liberation Radio.
Excellent.
Okay, so help us. Thank you so much.
Okay, quick question.
My question is, you were talking about briefly Barack Obama and our political situation. Would you follow up Your statement on that?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I don't get in politics, man.
There you go.
I'm so focused
He been
on what
having
I
a
do.
fan for me.
Yeah, I will say this, speaking from within myself, I am really concerned with how they let this black man get to the point that he's at so quick. That's just a question I have. That's just a question that I have. And there's something about that ain't quite right to me.
Your intuition.
That's my intuition.
Question from the brother. Stand up, please.
Sorry I came late. I know you went over this, but briefly, because I heard you speak about the difference between spirituality or the spirit and soul.
Yes.
And so I'm at a loss because I came late and I don't know the difference between.
If you will, to help explain that, let me ask your permission. May I use I'm not going to ask you. David, turn to Hebrews 4 and 12 for me. Hebrews 4 and 12. And this verse truthfully states our predicament as far as spirit and soul is concerned. Okay? Now, we don't have spirit and soul because it says it in the Bible. It says it in the Bible because we have spirit and soul. Does everybody understand that? Okay. What does Hebrews 4 and 12 say, man?
For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword.
For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. Now, before you get bent out of shape, let me tell you what I tell most Christians that I talk to. When that was written, the Bible didn't exist. So when it says the word of God, it can't be referring to the Bible. In fact, the phrase word of God comes from ancient Kemet. Follow what I'm saying? Okay? It's called the Medu Neter. Medu meaning words, Neter God. So the phrase, the word of God, is an ancient Kemetic context. Okay? So when it says the word of God, it's meaning the truth, period, is alive. That's what word quick means there. Alive and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. Now back in the day, back in this time, the Excalibur sword was supposedly the sharpest instrument on the planet. A better phrase right now would say a scalpel. A scalpel has a twofold purpose. The same instrument that's used to cut out the disease is also the instrument that brings healing. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? All right. Now saying the truth of God is sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of what?
Of soul and spirit.
Of soul and spirit. Thank you. Now, this is what I'm talking about. The only thing that's going to keep us focused on differentiating between what is intuition and what is intellect is the truth. Once we get the truth in us, we won't have a problem determining what's intuitive and what's intellectual. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay? But because of a lack of the truth, we don't know the difference between the two. So that verse is simply saying the truth is powerful enough to make you aware as to the difference between what is soulical and what is spiritual. As long as we keep living by the misconceptions that was given to us by our oppressor, we'll never have that discernment. Okay, that's what blinds us.
Soul is intellect.
Huh?
Soul is intellect.
So intellect is housed in the soul. Yes. Okay. Intuition is housed in the spirit.
Okay, let's get a sister, some female energy.
Doctor, thank you. In regards to the comment you made about the Earth Summit 2000,
yes,
the G8 and the decisions that they made,
yes.
I think I heard you speak about that on the Michael Basin show.
Probably did.
Yeah, I Googled it because he cut you off.
Right, Mike is good for that.
I couldn't find anything.
On Earth Summit 2000?
Yeah.
You should. I'm surprised. The topic of discussion was how will the Earth survive? That was Earth Summit 2000, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Right.
And you didn't find anything on Google? I'm surprised.
Nothing in depth like what you were talking about.
Oh, no, of course you're not going to know. They're not going to put that on the internet. No. See, you have to see how to read behind their diplomacy. See, in other words, their topic was, how will the earth survive? Their subject was what's called, in fact, type this, Google this, sustainable development. Google that. Okay? Google that, and you know what's going to come up? Population reduction. Okay? Population control or genocide. Okay? G8, G20 nations and their activities in Africa. Okay? One of the things that comes up in that is how they said, and this is a quote now, it says, the resources of Africa, what we want are the resources of Africa. The people of Africa we can do without. You see what I'm saying? Because they want the resources of the land.
Yes. Okay, and just going to make this the last question, brother. Please be brief.
Okay.
Dr.
Hi, brother.
You want to defend the Christian? Okay. You made a statement, you said that the Egyptians carried the left foot to suppress evil.
No, I didn't say that. But I mean, that's true.
I said
Brother
that.
Sonetta said
You
that.
said it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. The left side is your spiritual side. That's why it's depicted in the Egyptian depictions, the left hand, left foot forward. I must say that you said that. David was
No, I have said that in one of my lectures. I didn't say it tonight.
David is left-handed.
Who?
That little punk kid, David, he was left-handed.
David didn't exist.
I know, but in the story, he's left-handed.
But he didn't exist.
I know.
But you're saying that's symbolic?
That don't exist. Egypt don't exist either.
Okay.
It's our mythology.
Okay.
Okay.
See,
when people
make statements like that, I would say okay.
The brother over there, he asked when it's going to end, or when it's going to be a sign. The Bible states that there's an altar built in Egypt, that God put an altar in Egypt. The Sphinx, not the right name, goes by the next name.
Are you asking a question?
Yes, I'm making a statement.
Oh, okay.
You asked me that.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
There's a Sphinx. Sorry, I'm using that name because I don't know the other name.
I understand.
All right. That Sphinx is of a man, and the tail part is a lion. And so the other brother question over there is that this is the age of Aquarius. We are getting into it. And there's a man, and when you look at the opposite side, you got a lion.
Okay.
And you want to know when it's going to end. It's telling you when it's going to end because it's man in front and the kings and rulers at the back. The lion is at the back.
Okay.
And this is the year of man. Jesus said it when he told the disciples, go to a place to see a man with a water jug. Go into his house, or we shall take the Last Supper.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, give it up. Nah, tape is ended, man. What you don't understand is the tape is finished, and we want to end the tape properly, brother. That's what we're telling them to calm down. So we're trying to end the tape off right. So we can't let you finish, my brother. All right, but we'll get back to you. But now close out. Let the brother close out.
Sharing. And in closing, there was a phrase that was very popular and like to say that knowledge is power, but I later discovered knowledge without action is no power.
Thank you, brother.
Leave something with us that we can walk out of those doors and we can start to do to rise and clear our minds.
Thank you, brother. Once again, family, thank you for coming. Let me say this, and let me say this to each of you, and this is so very important, okay? It's our time now. The ancestors are at work in raising up an army of brothers and sisters who will bring healing, resurrection, liberation, and empowerment to our people. Find what your LOS is. I'm an ex-military man. We had a phrase called an MOS in the military. If anybody here, you know what I'm talking about. Military Occupational Specialty. Now find out what your LOS is. Liberation Occupational Specialty. Once you determine what that is, stay focused on it. Don't try to do what other people do. Do what you do. And you'll see great results from it. I love you guys.